Today in the kitchen I am cooking up a butternut squash and sausage stuffed shells dish. Perfect for fall, and I get to use up that butternut squash that I've got in the freezer. So I've got 2 cups of my butternut squash, got some garlic and Italian seasoning, Parmesan cheese, ricotta cheese, those jumbo shells, 1 pound of pork sausage, a little bit of half and half, and this delicious pumpkin butternut squash marinara sauce. So let's get busy making this delicious fall meal. First thing I did was brown up that pound of sausage. Then I'm going to boil the shells in some water seasoned with salt. And I use that whole box of shells because I've never made this recipe before. But next time I think I'll only have to use half of the box. So I'm just going to brown up and cook those shells for 7 minutes. I've drained off all the fat, and there's the cooked pork sausage. You could certainly use Italian sausage. That would be really good. So my butternut squash from the freezer has thawed out, and I have 2 cups measured in this bag. I do have a video I'll link below on how I cooked those and then prepared them for the freezer. And butternut squash is delicious. You could certainly use pumpkin in this recipe, but I had all those butternut squash that I grew in the garden, so I wanted to use those up. So 2 cups in with that 1 pound of sausage. Now I'm going to crack 1 egg and put that in the mixture. And this is a very cheesy stuffing, so I'm going to use that whole container of ricotta cheese. Now I got this idea off of Pinterest. I was actually following 2 recipes that I have on my Everything Pumpkin Pinterest board, and I kind of combined the 2 and made up my own because I did want the sausage meat in it. But that's 1 cup of ricotta cheese, or 1 container, I believe it was 15 ounce. And then I'm going to add in a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. And then I'm also going to be adding some shredded cheddar cheese, about 1 cup of sharp shredded cheddar cheese, so it's very cheesy. I'm going to mix all that up and then start adding in the spices and see if I need to add a little bit of milk. I don't want this feeling dry, so I did add a little bit of half and half there towards the end. Now, the recipe's called for chopped fresh sage. I did not have any, so I thought, I'm going to use Italian seasoning, and it tasted really good. So, about a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and then I used about a half a teaspoon of the granulated garlic. Okay, I added about a half a teaspoon of salt, and then I added about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper to this mixture. And then I added 2 tablespoons or a splash of half and half cream. And then I'm going to give this a good stir, get everything mixed in, all the spices, the milk, the cheese, the Parmesan, everything mixed together. Now, Sherry over on Better Living on a Budget told me about this pumpkin butternut squash pasta sauce at Aldi. I did find it, and boy, is she right, this is delicious. So I'm going to be pouring some of this, about a half a jar, into the bottom of my casserole dish. And then I'm going to set the shells right on top of it. That is a delicious sauce, and it was hard to find. They've got it kind of now on clearance at Aldi, so go look through that section, but it is delicious. So now I'm going to opening up my cool down shells, and I'm just stuffing them with that sausage and cheese mixture. So each shell got about a nice heaping tablespoon, and then I'm just lining the dish with these. Now, I did have enough left over that I froze them I had too many for this dish, so I just put them in another dish, put them in the freezer, and then I'll have another meal later, and that'll be fun. Okay, after I've filled my dish with the stuffed shells, I'm sprinkling on some mozzarella and sharp cheddar mixed together, just lightly coating it. And then I'm going to cover this with foil and bake it for 30 minutes in a 350-degree oven. The last 5 minutes of baking, I did take off that foil and let the cheese melt, and it turned out perfect. It was done. The noodles were nice and soft. There it is going into the oven, and here is the finished product. It was so yummy. I served this for dinner tonight, and my husband loved it. I loved it, and then I had some leftovers, and then I have some in the freezer. So this is a great fall meal. Now I did spoon that sauce that was in the bottom of the baking dish right on top of the pasta, and boy, that was the finishing touch. Perfection. Good. Very good. I've got it serving with a garlic stick and some green beans. So it's a keeper. I will leave the ingredients for this recipe in the description box below. I'll also link my Pinterest Everything Pumpkin board for you to go check out more delicious pumpkin recipes. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very blessed fall.